Hello, good morning, everyone. Thank you for taking out time to attend today's session. We are really excited to conduct this session for you. So, to start with, there are some basic rules about the win at AU after class. So, there is this contest going on, and we would want you to participate in that contest. And let me tell you how. So you will have chances of winning an Amazon Echo or some Autodesk branded goodies, which will be given out via lucky draw winners who complete attending this session as well as participate in the poll which is conducted towards the end of the session, and also the survey which is taken up at the end of the after the session. So all you have to do is participate in this session as well as take up the poll survey as well as uh, the survey which will be sent to you after the session on your email address. Please do mention your full name and organization and official email address in the survey link which you'll receive after this session. The lucky draw winners will be published on www.auindia.in/webinars on the 18th of December, as the last session is on the 17th of December. So after the last session, the next day we would be announcing it on the website. Also, we will be sending out reaching out to the winners via an email about the congratulating on the prizes and how they can collect it and how they will receive it. So all the campaign related and session will be sent out to the email address which you have used when you have registered. So please do watch out for communication from our side. So now let's move to the next slide. So I'll just give you a moment to go through the safe harbor slide, which is you can just take a couple of minutes to go through it. Okay, so with no further delay, now I would like to let's move to the next slide. I would now like to introduce you to the speaker for today. That is Samad Gupta, and he's the technical specialist for industrial design and visualization for India and SAARC. Thank you, Samad, and over to you.
Thank you, Avinash, and good morning, friends. Thanks for taking time out to attend this webinar. I hope that is going to be very, very helpful for you. The topic today is the introduction of sub-D modeling workflows in Alias 2020. So if many of you must be using Alias, but if you don't know what Alias is the de facto software application which is used in the automotive and the design companies, organizations around the world. It is mainly used uh, in the design teams by designers and sculptors to create uh, aesthetic surfaces, to put ideas on the paper, and once those ideas are on the paper, you need to convert those ideas to CAD models in 3D environment, so that those 3D models can be further refined, and those refined models can be shared with the engineering teams for manufacturing, for production. So that is what Alias is used for. Alias previously was associated with Class A models, or a bit of concept models, because we received many queries and a lot of feedback from the users that they are missing the concept modeling piece within Alias, because Alias is a wonderful tool for creating Class A. But when it comes to concept modeling, we found that users were using many other different applications, including some of the applications which are actually coming from Autodesk portfolio, like Maya and Max. So I'm going to discuss mainly about the introduction of subdivision modeling, and how it makes sense, how it makes a lot of sense to the users and digital sculptors, uh, that sub-D workflows are now included within Alias workflows. So first thing first, if you don't know what sub-D modeling is, or sub-D surfaces are, sub-D surfaces are Sub-D surfaces are surfaces which are used for quick modeling. So the nature of subdivision surfaces are totally different from the NURBS surfaces, because NURBS surfaces are procedural surfaces. So you need to create a curve, you create a curve and then you create a surface, or you use a primitive, but those surfaces are NURBS. So there is a bit of limitation with NURBS, which I'm going to discuss today. But if you are aware of certain software applications like Maya or Speedform, I think Speedform is something which we recently discontinued, and that was our concept modeling software. We found that many designers, people who are actually in the creative phase, for ideation, they would use Maya and Speedform. Now, why Maya and Speedform? Because in Maya and Speedform, it was very easy, or it was very convenient for a designer to give shape or form to his ideas in a 3D environment, in a 3D modeling environment. And that is why these tools were quite popular with those. But there were certain flaws, there were certain limitations, there were certain queries and feedback that we received from users, which compelled us to actually rethink this entire concept modeling workflow within Alias. And we decided that it is best to include the concept modeling uh, tools within the Alias environment. So what we have done is that we have included this subdivision surface modeling tools within Alias environment, so that the entire concept modeling and NURBS the Class A modeling uh, exercises or workflows are integrated now. Uh, I will explain to you that why the subdivision surfaces within Alias are unique, and why they are different, and how they are different from Speedform and Maya. But just to give you a snapshot, it is now we have actually completed this hybrid modeling workflow within Alias. So which means that you can actually do concept modeling, but at the same time you can use those concept modeling surfaces for Class A, for doing detailing. And I'm going to actually discuss what I mean by that. Uh, we have been, our development teams have been working on this subdivision surfaces integration for the past 3 4 years, and we actually shared some of those applications with some of the esteemed users. I mean, users coming from automotive companies, non-automotive companies, and we shared our tools with them, got their feedback, and all that you see on the screen is basically the work done by our users, by the users of Alias technology. So it is not something that our people created these models. It's basically created by the users who have been in the past using Maya, Max, or maybe Speedform as well. There are many applications that users today use. We are not contesting that. We are just saying that this is what they can benefit from if they use Alias Subdi. Okay, so what is the difference between Alias subdivision modeling and a Maya subdivision modeling, or Maya modeling, or concept modeling? This is something that no Wikipedia or no uh, forums will tell you. But the fact of the matter is that when you actually sculpt in Maya, you are actually using subdivision surfaces, or subdivision models. You are creating subdivision models, which are represented as polygons. Which are represented as polygons. Even speed form, you actually create subdivision models in speed form, but they are represented as T splines. It's a different technology. It was a company that we acquired a few years back, and now we have actually stopped the software itself. Uh, the limitation is that even if you create a concept model in Maya, the model remains a polygon model. So which means that there is an additional workflow that needs to be addressed, or needs to be, you need to actually make additional effort to convert those polygons to surfaces, and then redo the surface modeling onto those Maya models or polygon models. Subdivision modeling in Alias is quite different. Subdivision surfaces within Alias actually are subdivision, but they are represented as limit surfaces, which means that they carry all the properties of a NURBS surface. Now, what is the difference? The difference is this. If you have a NURBS, if you have a subdivision surface within Alias that you have created within Alias, you can actually do all these surface operations onto that surface, because the software will not understand that this is a limit surface or a NURB surface. It will actually take it as a surface which has got all the NURBS properties. So all the applications, all the operations that you would be doing on a NURB surface, which like panel gap, or maybe doing surface fillets, or creating those fillet flanges, everything you do on a basic NURB surface, you could do on a subdivision Alias surface, and that is that is what sets this technology apart from the Maya models, because then you can actually uh, utilize or leverage the strengths of both subdivision quick concept modeling as well as the NURBS modeling. Plus, you can also use your subdivision surfaces for diagnostic shading. Previously, in polygon models, since they are represented as polygons, the polygons will not support the diagnostic shading within Alias. So you have to convert them to NURBS, and then use them as and utilize them for shading, or to understand that how my surfaces are flowing. But in Subdi, when you create a Subdi model, it will actually support all the surface evaluation tools like zebra plots, or iso angle plot, or Gaussian, everything, because you have a dynamic phase going where you can actually tweak the surfaces real time and get the highlights. So it is like a win-win situation for people who are in both uh, creative phase as well as class A phase. I'm saying that Alias Subdi is class A. Alias Subdi is a concept modeling output. You have to actually convert those to NURBS to create class A, and I will tell you why Alias Subdi cannot be considered as class A. I'll cover that point as well. So just a small overview from our side. This is a video which our team actually has put up. It will actually show how this entire thing works. And whatever surfaces you are seeing are actually subdivision surfaces. We have introduced something known as box mode, which will actually help you understand how my surface flow has come out, which I'm going to discuss again. So if you so this is all subdivision modeling. Is actually making the fillet tighter or softer real time, and this is all This is all very user friendly because you just pull the series. Now this is what I'm talking about. Now this subdivision surface, uh, the user can actually trim the subdivision surface with a geometry, with a NURBS geometry or a subdivision geometry, and that is something very unique, which was not there even in Speedform or Maya. He can project the curves, he can cut, he can actually create fillets, he can create class A fillets on sub-D surfaces. Now, why these things actually matter to you? Because previously you have to wait for the entire concept modeling workflow to get completed, and then you would come to creating class A features, like for example panel gaps, or maybe uh, maybe some features that you want to add. You want to break the components. All those things you can actually do real time on the subdivision surfaces. So let me give you a small demo, and I'll be happy to take questions after that. Let me give you a small demo to actually illustrate or demonstrate better what is the difference, or how the inclusion of subdivision modeling or subdivision modeling tools help you within Alias workflows. So let me shift to Alias, and okay. Okay, so I have two surfaces here, uh, as you can see. Now, the one that I've selected is actually a NURBS surface. So this is a 4 by 4 NURBS surface, a simple NURBS surface. But if I select the other one, this is actually a subdivision surface, and I can actually check that. I can actually I just call out the information window, and I see that it is a subdivision surface. This is a subdivision surface which is made of 16 limit surfaces. So this is 16 picked, it's showing 16 picked objects. So these 16 are the limit surfaces which actually join one subdivision body, because I've actually created this subdivision body with 16 limit surfaces. I can actually create a subdivision body with only one limit surface, or maybe 4 limit surfaces, or 16 limit. I mean, it's up to me. I can actually do the math here. I can actually break or maybe add more limit surfaces as I wish. But just to prove what I'm trying to say, this is a surface which is represented by 16 limit surfaces. Now, what is the difference? The difference is this. Now, if I say okay, I pick series. So maybe I pick 4 CVs here and 4 CVs uh, from my subdivision surface, and I move them. Okay, so you can see that the both the surfaces actually move up, but their ascent is not same. Uh, that is because you have 16 limit surfaces which are actually constituting the surface rather than a single surface here. That is the difference between subdivision and NURBS. But this is also considered as a surface, so you can actually do all the applications, all the activities here. So if I now use this surface, like for example, if I just put on the zebra plot, it will actually work on both the surfaces. Okay, and by virtue of uh, the nature of subdivision surfaces, all these adjoining limit surfaces are actually G2 continuous. They are G2 continuous. They are not they will not display any break unless and until you give a break. and all the curve evaluation tools, everything will actually work on them, which is actually a very good thing. Okay, so that is one. Now, how to start? How to start modeling on a so until uh, Alias 2020.2 release, we were only supporting degree 1 curves for creating surfaces. But as of 2020.2, Alias release 2020.2, you can actually create surfaces from curves which have degree 3 or 5. So, which means that I have not installed the latest one, but I'll actually show you. So, you can actually start by creating a degree 1 curve. So, you just create a curve which is degree 1. This is like polyline, and then you go to, so in Alias what we have done is we have created a separate subdivision toolbox, uh, and this subdivision toolbox, I think people who have used Speedform and Maya, they can easily relate with this, because some of the tools are actually same, because the tools will not differ much. The technology behind those tools will actually create that distinctiveness. So you have this surface extrude or subdivision extrude. You click that, and what you do is you will get this handle, and then you just push it. And this is similar to what you used to do in Maya and Speedform. You can actually create, you can induce a, and then by space you can actually, and then you can put it on. And when I create a surface, this entire thing, uh, this entire thing will actually create a subdivision surface. So for example, if I just shade this entire thing, I started with a polyline, but when I create a surface, it is smooth. Okay, because the software itself would, now we are talking of a version before 2020.2, but in 2020.2 you can actually trace the exact curves. I'm talking of the version before that because many of you would have seen only 20 Alias 2020. Now there is a mode that we have introduced in 2020, which is the box mode, and this actually is very unique because this actually will tell you how your surfaces are behaving. Behavior of surfaces is very important, because if everything becomes uh, so curvy, so soft, you will not be able to see the actual nature of those surfaces. It is very important to judge and understand the skeleton of the surface, and that is where you can make use of this box mode which we have introduced in 2020. So if I click on box mode, I will get the actual skeleton of that surface, and if you see closely, this skeleton will actually trace the curves that I've created. This skeleton will actually trace the curves that I created, the polyline that I created. So it will actually show the, so this skeleton, this box mode shows me that how my surfaces are structured. Very important. And this, I think, in NURBS modeling also, you used to judge the quality of your surfaces by understanding that how your isoperms and CVs are structured and located with respect to the adjacent CVs. What we have given you now is that we have given a direct tool which actually works both on subdivision as well as NURBS modeling. Okay, so if you have slight doubt on the quality of your surface, you can just click on the box mode and you will understand how my entire surfaces are structured. So this is a very important tool. Now, what I was trying to tell you now is, so you have this smooth, you have all these things. Now, each of this, if you want to play around, or if you want to create further shapes from this, you can always create further curves, or you can extend the edges. So you can pick a edge and you can just move, and you can see that the surrounding surfaces will actually move accordingly. You can move in any direction. You also can select a face, so which means the face is the face of your sub-D structure. So you have selected the face, and I can move this face. Okay, very intuitive. Okay, and this is not going to kill the continuity of the surrounding surfaces. So this is, I think this is something you know already. Okay, let me do some operations on this surface. So let's go to the top view, and maybe I'll just quickly say now I can quickly select these limit surfaces. As I said that these are all limit surfaces, and I can quickly project my curve. Now you can see I have projected a curve. Okay, this was nightmarish for users in speedform, very difficult. And what you can do now, you can actually uh, trim. So you can keep this. So you can see my limit surface is trimmed. Okay, what I'm trying to show you is that the surface operations are pretty much possible on the sub-D model. Okay, so I can uh, select this entire edge. If I want to select the entire edge, I can just select this entire edge here, and I'll just go to extrude again, and then maybe try to extrude something inside. Now I see that my when I extrude, this surface which is generating is quite soft. Uh, I'm not happy with that. I just want a very hard edge. So what I can do is I can again go back to my selection. I select this entire edge, because this is not a single edge. This is an edge of multiple limit surfaces. So I use this command and select this entire thing. I go to my subdivision tool, and I just press crease. So there is something known as crease. I think this crease is coming from Maya also. Maya also has this tool. Very important tool for automotive designers. Very important, because, or maybe designers in general, because now I see that a lot of product designs are also getting inspired and influenced by automotive design. So this is a very important tool. So you create a crease, which is actually something that you can quickly do. Okay, now since this surface was almost at 90 degrees, so you get a hard edge. You can play around with that surface, and you can still get. So if you want, you can select this edge, and we'll create all those shapes. Okay. Sometimes you have to actually play. You have to actually interplay between precision modeling or precision surface modeling or precision engineering values or details that have been supplied to you, and how to adjust your subdivision or how to adjust your concept models within that. So case in point would be, like, for example, when you actually work in the automotive space, there are certain values which you cannot change or you cannot tweak. So they are the hard values. They are the holy grail. like for example the belt line, I mean uh, the uh, the edge where the trim ends in an automotive scenario, or maybe the the front glass where it lands, the front glass of a car where it lands. So that curve is actually the holy grail. So in that case, what you should do is you can actually leverage one of the tools that we have, which is, I'll tell you. So you can actually use align. You can, oh, I have to select the curve, sorry. I have to select the series. So I select all the series of that edge, and generate a curve. Okay, now this is, okay. And what I can do is I have generated a curve on that edge. What I can do is I can just move this curve. When I move this curve, since I've already aligned this entire sorry, the entire edge of all the limit surfaces to this curve, wherever I take this curve, my surfaces will follow. My limit surfaces will follow. And this is actually very useful in, if you want to actually align your surfaces, because you have already done some modeling on this side. So you can see that, my these surfaces are not disturbed. Okay, and but I still maintain the continuity. What I'm trying to do is that I'm trying to align this edge onto something which has been given to me by the engineering team. Okay, and one of the examples, the use case I've actually just shared with you, the front of the instrument panel or instrument cluster of your car or your vehicle. Now, what you're doing essentially is that you are taking this entire surface near to that edge, and once you are near that surface, you can actually align align these edges to those. So which means that I have not tweaked the surfaces, I have not changed anything, but at the same time I have controlled the position of my left edge, where my entire product will land, my entire part will land. So there are numerous applications, and it would be very helpful if you can actually share once you start using. We have forums where you can actually see that uh, how beneficial these forums are, because you actually interact with like-minded users around the world, around the globe, and you can share the best practices with them. We are creating tools, but we are creating tools because you want them. So it is always good to have the dialogue open. Please let us know if you need anything in terms of new tools or in terms of new workflows. We'll be more than happy to help you out. There are many examples where we actually created tools specifically because users asked them. So please go ahead and ask whenever you come across some critical workflows. Okay, so let me move ahead. Plus, this entire subdivision model you can actually take to VRED. You can actually visualize this. If people who use visualization software called VRED from Autodesk, you can actually create compelling imagery or compelling visualization imagery using the same surfaces, irrespective of the fact that they are subds. They Once they enter a rendering domain or rendering application, it doesn't matter if it's coming from subd or it's coming from NURBS or it's coming from CATIA or NX or Inventor. So that is also one workflow that you can So I mean, most of the tools that are mentioned here, you can start. I mean, these are the basic tools that we have added. You can do a lot with these small tools. Before I just leave the software, I'll just show you one small thing. Uh, what I can do is you select the subdivision surface. I'll just uh, and I just create NURB surface out of it. Okay, so I have a NURB surface which is overlapping with this. Okay, I'll okay, so I have hidden this. What you get this is a NURB surface. Now this is a NURB surface. Okay, this is a NURB surface which is actually broken into all the, so all the limit surfaces of sub D have been converted to a NURB surface. 3131, 3131. Okay. My only request is that, just proceed to NURB surface once you are 100% sure of your concept, that you have captured your idea, you have captured your entire design brief. If you have actually done that, then only, because now you cannot go back to subdivision and make changes, because that process is not iterative now. You can utilize this surface to create class A, but you cannot tweak, you cannot convert this surface back to sub D. That is not possible. Okay, so my only request is that only come to, because it is not a bi-directional workflow. It is only a single directional. The only thing that you can do, and the only benefit which sub D gives you, is that people who have legacy Maya data can actually convert their Maya data to subdivision surfaces using OBJ format. Okay. So before I discuss that, let me actually discuss something very important. So let me take this subdivision surface. Let me just pick this surface. Now, when I pick this surface, now this is a subdivision. This is part of the subdivision body. This is a limit surface of degree 3131. And if I just color it, it's like this surface. But if I put the CVs on, uh, okay, if I put the CVs on of this limit surface, now this surface is showing us 3131. So which means that I should see the CVs and the isoforms which actually constitute the structure of this surface, but I'm not able to access those CVs. And this is the reason we cannot use subdivision limit surfaces for class A models, because the finesse and the refinement that class A calls for, we cannot do that in subdivision surfaces, because we don't have access to the structure of a single limit surface. We have access to the the edges of the subdivision surface, or we have access to the edge of this limit surface, but we don't have access to what's happening inside the surface. And this is something very important, because someone asked me in one of the sessions and webinars that why can't we use subdivision for class A if it's so powerful. It is powerful, but not in the class A domain. For class A, you have to still convert this subdivision to NURBS and continue with your class A modeling activity. So this is just I wanted to share. Quickly, I'll go back to the presentation. I have already discussed everything. I will tell you one small thing, that if you have legacy data for Maya, you can import in Alias. You can export from Maya as OBJ, and you can import within Alias as subd, and you can continue to work on those Maya models. So those Maya models won't be dead, they will be active. Now those active Maya models, you can actually continue to do surfacing in those Maya models as subd, because those surfaces will be now converted to subd, and you can actually utilize all the subdivision surfaces and then continue with the workflow. We started by saying that even the speed form you can convert to OBJ and you can import, but as of 2020.2 we have given you a direct connect between speed form and Alias, which means that you can directly import subdivision T-spline surfaces from speed form in Alias. So those surfaces will directly be converted as sub-D objects in Alias, and those will be active. So which means that you can actually continue to work on those. Uh, Before I just open the webinar for questions, I'll just share one of the models that one of our users created. This is a car that they created in. And you can see that my wheels are NURBS, because the wheels are have been converted to NURBS. Okay, so everything that you see is actually based on NURBS modeling. You can quickly create organic shapes like this because you don't have to worry about the continuity. You can interactively decide on the form. You can create models that can be quickly presented to your key stakeholders, to your decision makers, and you can actually create approvals. There is a lot of we have actually put a lot of material on YouTube as well as on our website, which would enable you to learn these tools. These tools for first timers, yes, you will take time to learn, but if you are coming from a Maya or Speedform background, I think you are good to go. In fact, you would find these things much more easier to use and much more easier to apply in your existing workflows. Uh, Okay, so I think we are coming to the end of the webinar. I promise that I'll keep 15 minutes for Q&A, and just let me see if there are some questions coming. So I don't think there are any questions coming. So if you have any questions or queries, you can please ask me. There is a lot to come in this workflow. Maybe the next webinar will be much more advanced, and we'll actually touch upon some of the actually tips and tricks, or maybe some of the areas, common areas where you can leverage subdivision modeling. But this is a first in series of this webinar where we just want to showcase how subdivision as a technology is different and how it will actually help you in the workflows of Alias. There is a question which is coming. Let me see. Subdivision belongs to which collections? Subdivision actually is included in all the Alias versions. So as of May, as of this year, we have actually discontinued Alias design, and all the features of Alias design are now available in Alias concept. Alias concept used to be a collection, it's used to be a bundle, but now it is a single software, which also includes subdivision modeling. So subdivision modeling, this toolbox that you see will be available in all the three versions of all the three flavors of Alias, which is Alias concept, Alias surface, and Alias auto studio. PDMC, no, PDMC will not have this tool, because PDMC is for a very different workflow. It's known as product design and manufacturing collection. It is mainly targeted for engineers. This is targeted for people who want to add a whiff of styling or add a whiff of aesthetics to their workflows. And that is why the technology and the tools are totally different. Another question coming is that how this is different from Fusion. Okay, Fusion is a different software. Many differences. One is that Fusion is cloud-based. This is not cloud-based. This has to be installed on your system locally. So there is nothing to do with cloud. First, second is Fusion is based on T-splines. So I discussed and I told you that we acquired a company called T-splines, uh, in 2013 or 14 time frame, and we repackaged it to create a software called Alias Speedform, which essentially was based on T-spline technology. Now that T-spline technology, that entire workflow was also shared by the Fusion team. So Fusion, the modeling, the quick modeling that you see in Fusion today is based on T-splines. But that is not good enough for creating compelling, class A models, or not class A models, but concept models for designers. It is mainly for engineers to actually create models. I would say create models. I would not even say uh, concept models. Just create models in Fusion and just go with the entire workflow. Add details. Make it engineering, manufacturability wise viable and stuff like that. But do simulation on the same surfaces and all that in terms of other uh, you know uh, tool sets that are included, but not for class A, not for the design workflows. So that is why Fusion and Subdivision in Alias, they cannot be compared at all. Okay. How do we learn Subdi? You can actually learn Subdi on your own if you are starting for the first time. We have tools available. If you want to purchase and learn, then our partners are we have authorized partners who sell Subdivision. Who sell our products. We have certain partners only who are authorized enough to sell the industrial design portfolio coming from Autodesk, and those people would help you in the initial hand holding and understanding the concept of using subdivision modeling. So there'll be a lot of hand holding. But if you really want to learn on your own, there are plenty of tools which are available on the website. You can go to our website, knowledge.autodesk.com, and you'll find a lot of material is available for you to learn on your own. Another question coming is, what is the cost of this tool? You can reach out to the partners to understand the cost, because there are three different flavors that are available as of now. So it's not one technology. The technology is one, but it is included in all the three flavors of Alias. So based on your workflow and based on your skill set, you can choose, because all the three flavors will be like they are priced differently. So yes, they are different. Uh, Can I use NURBS modeling, NURBS class A with subd? Yes, you can use. You can use the subd models. You can convert them to NURBS directly with a one-click workflow that I showed you, and and you can actually continue to work with an objective of creating a high quality class A surface. The good thing is that we have given you tools to differentiate between subd and NURBS within Alias. So the model that you're seeing today, as of now, is orange, which actually denotes subd in my system. NURBS will be blue, so I can easily make out whether it is a subd or a NURBS model. Uh, Wait for some more questions. Okay, there are some more questions. I'm using 3ds Max. Can I import 3ds Max model uh, in Alias? Try OBJ. Try converting into OBJ and then convert into subd. I'm from AEC segment. Okay, this is a big question. I'm from AEC segment. Can you give a brief how effective Alias could be for AEC industry, especially product design? I'm sorry, I'm not able to get the entire question. How effective Alias industry product design, and if there is someone who is using this for AEC? Okay, so off late we are seeing, it's a very good question. Off late we are seeing that the product design methodology, or the AEC industry is got also getting inspired from design, from industrial design, or from landscape design, from automotive design, from actually, there is a lot of inspiration coming from nature, a lot of inspiration coming from the society itself, and that is now getting reflected in the AEC space. You can see buildings now, no more buildings are just rectangles. There is a lot of what do you call, jazz to it. There is a lot of drama which is now being shown in the facade of a building. Now that is coming from product design. So product designers and architects are actually uh, playing together to create experiences or to create buildings which actually, challenge the status quo. So yes, you are right. There is an application, but not I am aware of whether they are using Alias for product design, because the product design coming out of Alias is has got a very different workflow. There could be that in AC space there could be components, or there could be uh, sub areas where you can actually leverage Alias, but I have not seen an architect using Alias as of now to create a model right from scratch. So we would wait for a time when architects also start using Alias. Okay, any more questions coming? Will speed form be discontinued? Why I'm not? Just wait. Will speed form be discontinued? It is already discontinued. We have already discontinued as of July. We have discontinued Alias speed form, but the Alias speed form data can be read within Alias subd Alias basically. How is it converted in PDMC means for manufacturing data? I think I've answered that already. You can go to NURBS, and then from NURBS you can create, or maybe you can give that model to downstream CAD applications, which includes Inventor or other applications which are available in PDMC. Rendering quality comparable to V-Ray? No, this is not a visualization solution. This is a modeling solution. So this question is not for Alias. Any tutorials available online? I've already answered. Can we use Alias model for VR creation? Yes, you can. In fact, starting 2020.2, we have actually included a module called Alias Create VR, where you can actually create your models within VR, within virtual reality space. Though it is still at a very initial stage, we have already seen some bit of interest from users who want to actually, start with a 1:1 frame of mind. They want to create models as if, it is 1:1. But still, I would say that there is a lot of development work which is happening, and you would hear from us very soon with some more advanced features for Alias Create VR. On the contrary, all the models of Alias can be consumed in virtual reality using any of the head-mounted devices that are available in the market. We have certain head-mounted devices that we support, like HTC Vive and Oculus Rift. So you can make use of them, because virtual reality now is something which is very common. So previously we had VRED supporting head-mounted devices. Now we have Alias supporting head-mounted devices. So this is going to get very interesting from here on. I think I've answered most of the questions. It's a completely modeling software, or we can calculate quantities for drawings related to what? Construction? No, no, not. Can we do electric modeling like substation, etc., using this software? See, this is for creating surfaces. It's up to you. If you really want to make a very aesthetically looking electrical substation, go for it. Okay, and will Alias concept have all the subd tools as in Auto Studio? Yes. The answer is yes. We are not making any, we are not biased for Auto Studio against Alias concept. Okay. Yeah, so this was the last question. I think I've answered all the queries. Yeah, I've answered all the queries. If there are any further questions, you can you this is your does VRED work in Alias? Oh, I'm not clear with this question. Does VRED work in Alias? No, VRED is a different software. You have to take your Alias model to VRED, and then you have to visualize or maybe render your data. Sub-D models can also be taken directly to VRED. Okay, which Autodesk tool is used for render? Autodesk VRED is a tool for render. Plugin, there is no plugin as of now for rendering. Okay, I think people are more interested in rendering rather than modeling, but anyways, so I think we are now coming to the end. We have 2 more minutes left. If there are any questions, I'll be more than happy to take. Otherwise, I'll just uh, pass on the entire thing to Avinash, my colleague. Just 2 more minutes. Okay, I think Avinash, you can take over. Avinash, are you there?
Yes, hello, Samad. Yes.
Yeah, you can take over.
Sure. Thank you, Samad. So while we're still waiting, so now it comes to the poll survey. So I will display the poll questions, on your, it'll be right now one after one. So I would request, each one of you to give your responses in order to be eligible to participate in the lucky draw. So the first question is up on your screen, and we'll give it a moment while you respond to the survey, to the poll question. So we still have people responding, so just give me a moment while we move to the next question. Okay, we have had people respond to the first question, so now moving on to the second question. It's displayed on your screen, so please do respond. So moving on to the next question. Okay, thank you for the responses. Now moving to the last question. Okay, thank you for your responses. So we're done with the whole questions. Back to you, Samat.
Yeah, thanks again. I just want to thank you all, and thanks for also, completing all the poll questions. I think based on the webinar, if you have any further queries, you can actually reach out to us, and someone from our side will actually get back to you with the solution. Apart from that, I think we will organize a series of webinars in this series. So this was the first one. There'll be a few more which you will be informed because your details are now with us. So we'll inform you. So thanks a lot and thanks for your time. Avinash, you can stop the broadcast, I think.